Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I wish you are okay. Today we are going to start our new story. I think you all are going to love this story because it is a folk tale. So, our story is Two of Everything. What's the title again, guys? Two of Everything. The genre is a folk tale. The genre is what, guys? A folk tale. What's a folk tale? A folk tale is a story that is used to be told over and over in the country. It's a nice story people used to tell over and over to teach a lesson. So after you finish or while you're reading this story, guys, look for the lesson. What lesson in life do we learn? What things do we learn in our life from this story? The plot means the actions are simple and the setting is also simple. The events cannot happen in our real life. So this story is a folk tale. It's titled in Two of Everything. Listen, guys.
Anchor text. Genre. A folk tale is a story that is often told by people of a country. As you read, look for a simple plot that teaches a lesson. Events that could not happen in real life. Meet the author and illustrator. Lily Toy Hong. Lily Toy Hong enjoys camping, getting together with her large family, and eating Chinese food. She also loves learning about her parents' native country, China, and its many legends and folk tales. One day I would love to visit China and explore the land of my forefathers, she says, and maybe discover more folk tales.
Oh my God, we don't like to visit China and we never want to hear about their food after what had happened to us and what is happening nowadays. Okay, guys, let's move to the story.
Two of Everything by Lily Toy Hong. Essential question. What good things happen when people work together?
So here, guys, we are going to concentrate on group work or pair work. You should work with others. Working with others is better than working alone. If you work with others, you can do work easier, faster, and more effectively. So try to work in a group, and Islam calls for group works and not only individuals. So work with a group, guys. Listen to this part of the story.
Once, long ago, in a humble little hut, lived Mr. Hacktack and his wife, Mrs. Hacktack. They were old and very poor. What little they ate came from their tiny garden.
Yes. Here, when we start in a story, guys, we use these initial words. Once a long ago, or once upon a time, in a humble little hut, lived Mr. Hacktack and his wife, Mrs. Hacktack. They were old and very poor. What little they ate came from their tiny garden. Here, guys, if you look at the verbs used in this part of the story, all these verbs are in the past and most of them are irregular, like came, were, also in the past, because we started the story with once long ago. It is in the past. I'm asking you now, where did Mr. Hacktack and Mrs. Hacktack live? Yes, they lived in a humble little hut. Only they lived in a hut. It is a very small house made from wood or bamboo, like this. They were very poor, means they didn't have a lot of money only they ate a little. Ate is the past from eat. What they ate, it is the past, came from their little tiny garden. So they had a tiny garden, they grew food in it, and they only eat the food that they grow in this little garden. What happened to them? Let's see.
In a lucky year when the harvest was plentiful, Mr. Hack-Tack had a little extra to take to the village. There he traded turnips, potatoes, and other vegetables for clothing, lamp oil, and fresh seeds.
Yes. So what we get from the garden is called the harvest. If you grow potatoes, when you pick up the potatoes, it is your harvest. When you grow corn in your garden, the corn you grow is the corn you pick is your harvest. So, in a lucky year, if they are lucky and the harvest was plentiful, plentiful, it comes from the word plenty. Plenty means a lot. Mr. Hacktack had a little extra. Extra means more than what they need. Extra. What do they do if they have extra harvest? They go to the village. Mr. Hacktack goes to the village to sell it. Does he sell only or trade? He trades. He trades means he gives and takes. He exchanges. He exchanges the extra harvest with what? With lamp oil, and fresh seeds also for some clothing. So what did they grow in their garden? Yes, they grew turnips, potatoes, and vegetables. When they have extra, they traded these with clothing, lamp oil, and fresh seeds. Yes, only in a plentiful, or when the harvest was plentiful. Now, guys, look at the picture. What can you see in the picture? Yes, this is Mr. Hacktack. He is an old man. He was working hard. What's he doing? He's digging in the garden to grow new seeds. Yes, when we grow, the first thing we do is to dig in the garden, the soil, and put the seeds, then hide and add water. What happened one day? Let's meet the surprise.
One spring morning, when Mr. Hack-Tack was digging in his garden, his shovel struck something hard. Puzzled, he dug deeper into the dark ground until he came upon an ancient pot made of brass. "How odd," said Mr. Hack-Tack to himself, "to think that I have been digging here all these years and never come upon this pot before. I will take it home. Maybe Mrs. Hack-Tack can find some use for it."
Yes, as I told you, he was digging. What was he digging with? Yes, as you see, he was digging with a shovel. This is a shovel he's digging with. What happened? One spring morning, when Mr. Hacktack was digging his garden, his shovel struck. Struck means hit, and there was a sound. Struck something hard. Puzzled. He was puzzled means he was confused. He dug deeper into the dark ground until he came upon the ancient. What's the meaning of ancient, guys? Ancient means very old. Ancient means very old. An ancient pot. What was it made of? It was made of a brass. Brass is like the copper and it is like the bronze. How odd. How odd. What's the meaning of odd, guys? You studied it in vocabulary? Yes, odd means strange. How odd, said Mr. Hacktack to himself. To think that I have been digging here all these years and never came upon this spot before. So he was puzzled because it is the first time to meet something like that, because he was digging all the years and not any time he met such a thing. So he was puzzled, and he said to himself, I will take it home. Maybe Mrs. Hacktack can find some use for it, because he doesn't know how to use it and what things he can use it. Okay? Now, he took it home, I think. Yes. Can you see the pot on his back, guys? Yeah, it's a big pot. It's a big pot. And it is yellowish because it is made of brass. Brass is like copper. It is yellow metal. Can you see his wife? She is short like him because they are Chinese. Yes, this is Mrs. Hacktack who met him. Let's see what happened.
The pot was big and heavy for old Mr. Hacktack. As he stumbled along, his purse, which contained his last 5 gold coins, fell to the ground. He tossed it into the pot for safekeeping and staggered home. His wife greeted him at the door. "Dear husband, what a strange pot!" Mr. Hacktack explained how he found the pot. "I wonder what we can do with it," said Mrs. Hacktack. "It looks too large to cook in and too small to bathe in."
Yes, guys, the pot was big and heavy, big and heavy. So this old man was poor. He cannot carry it, but he stumbled along. As he stumbled along, he was trying to carry it. His purse is the thing that he keeps his money, which contained means had inside it, which contained his last 5 gold coins, fell is also the past from fall fell to the ground. He tossed means he threw it into the pot for safekeeping. Guys, you should keep some money. If you spend some money, you should keep the other or the extra money for the coming days, because you cannot guarantee that you always have money. So if you spend some, keep some as safekeeping. He staggered home. Staggered means walked hardly. He walked hard home. When he reached home, his wife greeted him. So when you go home, you should greet your mom and dad. Greeted him at the door. "Welcome, dear husband." "What a strange pot!" This is an exclamation. Mr. Hacktack explained how he found the pot. He told her that he found it while he was digging in the garden. "I wonder what we can do with it," said Mrs. Hacktack. Wonder here means she exclaimed, she asked. "Why, it looks too large to cook in. They cannot cook in it because it is too large. But it is also too small to bathe in." To bathe means to have a bath in it, yes? So they don't know what to do with it. It was too large to cook and too small to bathe in. They will think what they will do with it. Yes, now let's complete what happened.
As Mrs. Hacktack leaned over to peer into the pot, her hairpin, the only one she owned, fell in. She felt around in the pot, and suddenly her eyes grew round with surprise. "Look," she shouted, "I've pulled out 2 hairpins, exactly alike, and 2 purses, too." Sure enough, the purses were identical, and so were the hairpins. Inside each purse were 5 gold coins.
Yes, guys, here as Mrs. Hacktack. Mrs. is the wife of Mr. Mrs. is written in MR apostrophe S. This is abbreviation for a lady. As Mrs. Hacktack leaned over means she bent over to peer into the pot. To peer means to look inside. To peer into the pot, her hairpin. Your mom can show you her hairpin or your sister's hairpin. Her hairpin that she puts in her hair fell down into the pot. She felt around in the pot, and suddenly what happened? Her eyes grew round. Grew round means she's surprised. She's astonished. Why? Look! This is exclamation. Look, husband, she shouted. I have pulled out 2 hairpins exactly alike and 2 purses too. Look at how the illustrator wrote the words two times. How is it written, guys? It is written in capital and bigger letters because these words are important. To know the word 2 is the most important word in the story. 2 hairpins exactly alike, the same, and 2 purses also exactly the same. Sure enough, the purses were identical. What's the meaning of identical, guys? Yes, identical means exactly the same. So were the hairpins. They were also exactly the same. Inside each purse, there were 5 gold coins. So now, how many gold coins do they have now, guys? Yes, they have 10. 5 in each purse. How many purses do they have? Now they have 2, exactly the same. And she has 2 hairpins, exactly the same. Now you got it, guys? This is what happened until now. So let's stop today and meet next Thursday. Bye for now. Have a nice time.